Over the past few decades, advances in technology has engulfed the global economy. Tech jobs are in desperate need of new remote workers to expand the workforce, and companies are willing to compensate very, very well for such high demand jobs. Now, the best part is these jobs don't require any experience to begin. And with the average starting salary being upwards of $80,000 for your first year, there is no excuse not to quit your mundane 9 to 5 in turn for a high-paying remote job that can be done from anywhere around the world. Today, I had the pleasure of interviewing Atiya, who is a mom of 3 and was a stay-at-home mom for several years with no tech experience. She wanted to start making some extra money, so she went through course careers and found a job making $60,000 a year with the ability to have a $20,000 commission bonus. So, what does the job she does actually entail? How many hours does she need to work every single week? And what does she do on a daily basis? Well, you don't have to hear it from me. Here's the truth from someone who actually is doing this today. You guys ready? Let's go. Hey, Atiya, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, it's good to be here.
So I'm so excited about this interview, and I just want to first get started by, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and then how you got involved in tech?
Yeah, so it was an interesting story. My husband and I, we follow Anthony O'Neill, and he's a huge advocate for financial freedom, and especially in the Black community, African American community. And so one day he was doing an episode and he was saying, if you're not making enough income to get out of debt and to meet your financial goals, he said, then you need more income. And it just seemed like a very simple thought. But at the time I was, a stay-at-home mom and I really enjoyed it. My husband and I had really big financial goals. We wanted to pay off our student loans. We wanted to eventually pay off our house. And so we sat down and had a very heart-to-heart conversation, and we decided for me to transition to work. So we found out about course careers through Anthony O'Neill's show, and we signed up, and a few months later, he graduated. The funny story is I never finished the course because halfway through the course, I started applying for jobs. I was like, look, I'm ready to work. I finally, determined I was a stay-at-home mom for 4 years. And I determined, okay, now is my time to transition back into the work field. And so I started applying and landed a job before I ever finished the program.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, yes,
That's amazing.
it is amazing. And I had at one point I was interviewing with 8 different companies, and it just, all worked out where I was able to land the company that I'm with now. And what I really love about my company is they offer a lot of autonomy and flexibility. Basically, you don't have a set schedule, which as a mom is perfect. So I'm able to bring my kids to school, come home, do my job, pick them up from school. If, a child gets sick, I'm able to be home and still get my work done. So it's just been a great journey so far.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Now, you were mentioning course careers. What is that, or what is course careers?
Yeah, so course careers is it's a tech boot camp, if you will. And so they're actually branching out into different fields. When we started, me and my husband, they just had tech sales and IT, but now they offer digital marketing, tech sales, IT. I want to say there's another one, and they actually have many that eventually that's the vision, just to give people an opportunity where you don't have to go to college. And I'm still paying off student loans. So you don't have to go to college and drop hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can go to a boot camp or a course, and it's self-paced. So you can take as much time as you need. As a mom, that was perfect for me because I was able to take care of the kids during the day and then do my work in the evening. And, you go at your own leisure. And I've talked to a lot of moms who are able to go through the course at the same time and just, do it while they're still taking care of the kids. And it's a great opportunity because you're learning a specific skill. So nowadays with jobs, they want to know you may not have the experience, but if you have the training, then that will also help you, get your foot in the door.
Right. No, that's awesome. Now, So your like, how long were you a stay-at-home mom? Because did you have any background in tech, or was the boot camp all the knowledge you had about tech? And you didn't even finish it, but was that enough information that you had to go and get a job?
Right. So I was a stay-at-home mom for 4 years. So my 4-year-old, after I had him, I was like, you know what? I didn't want to go back to work. And I was working actually for a church. I did that for 10 years. So I had a lot of administration skills and a lot of people skills. And those skills were actually perfect, like to transition into what I'm doing, where all you do is talk to people all day. So although I didn't have the tech experience, my job was not looking for someone with tech experience. My job was looking for someone who was going to be good with people, who was going to work hard, and they basically were going to teach you what you needed to know so that you could do well on the job.
Okay. So what is it exactly that you do?
So tech sales is basically, if you think about any software, think about any tech company, software company, think about Microsoft, think about Google, Amazon, they all have software that they're selling, and it's business to business. So with my company, HiveMQ, we sell a very advanced technology. It's an MQTT broker. And it's an alternative to HTTP. So it's a data messaging platform. And we provide this platform for other businesses to communicate with the connected devices. So basically, any software that you can think of, it has to be sold, right? So every software company has a division in their company for sales. So even in this job, if I wanted to go to Amazon or go to one of these big tech companies, you can, because they have this sales division inside of their company. And you don't have to necessarily have tech experience, because my husband, who was in car sales, was able to transition, and now he works for Intuit, and he started off doing car sales. So basically with sales, the skills are the same no matter what you're selling. So you don't have to have like tech. I had no tech background. Like my husband was way more of a techie than me, but I just had these skills, ability to talk to people, communicate effectively. I was like a sponge, being able to learn and catch on, and then being able to communicate what you're learning. And so training for my job was 3 months long. So it was the longest training I have ever gone through, but it was so long because you did have to have a grasp on the concept, and we had to be certified. So we had a written certification as well as a board panel certification. And so they wanted to know that you were fully prepared to be able to be like an ambassador for the company. And, a lot of people would get discouraged by that. But for me, I thought it was great, because here I am learning about this that I had no idea. But now this knowledge is basically going to set me up for, now I know something is very futuristic, but now I have a lot of insight into something that's going to one day be like worldwide.
Right. Now, did you have any sales experience at all? Or when you were applying for these jobs, did you let them know that you were like course careers at all? Like, how did that play into you getting these jobs and like even knowing how to sell?
Right. So I had retail experience. So in college and high school, I worked at the mall. So, but, so just talking about that does help. And then going through a boot camp, it does help, because they want to know. So we were trained on cold calling, we were trained on cold emailing, we were trained on outbounding, prospecting, researching companies. So when you use these terms, although you may not have had a job, you're someone who knows what you're talking about. Yeah. And some of my coworkers, other companies, they said that they had to, give a sample cold call in the interview. So people are sometimes they're looking for experience, but sometimes the fact that you've gone through this training, that'll be enough, because if you go through the training, you learn and you grasp it, you're fully grasping it, and you're able to now show them what you learned, then that will work as well, even if you don't have the experience.
Right. Now, can you like take us through maybe a day in your life what a day in the life of your job would be, just so we can understand like, okay, so that's what she does, and I understand, and every day might not be the same, but just so we can try and grasp like what you really do.
Got it. So I work with an account executive, and the
Okay.
account executives, they are the ones who do the closing. So they'll be considered the closers. The way you look at an SDR, which is a sales development representative, and they also call BDR, business development representative, is the door opener. So
Okay.
we get a list from the account executives for my company. Every company is different.
Right.
Some companies you have to find your own companies you're going to reach out to because it's business to business. So you're not selling like business to consumer, you're selling to an actual business.
Right.
So I
Right.
have a list of companies that I will prospect. So I will go on, you can use any CRM, which is basically a database where businesses list their name, the employee's name, their title, and contact information. So you'll find all the contact information, you look for the target persona. So basically, if you know that, for instance, I'm selling something that's a cloud-based data transmission, then I will look for someone who has like cloud engineer in their name. Once I
Oh,
find
okay.
those personas, then I contact them. So I'll call. So I make about 40 calls a day, and I send
Wow.
about 30 to 40 emails a day. Some companies you're making hundreds of calls a day. You're sending hundreds of emails, but the emails are automated. So it's not really, the calls is really what takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And emails just kind of, they send on their own.
And do you
And then
have a
so I,
script or anything you help follow, or are you so good at now you just know exactly what to say?
yeah, you can make your own script. And every company is different. Some companies, they make the script. They want you to stick to the script. I'm not a very scripted person. So I liked the fact that I was able to kind of create my own script. Now it's to the point where I don't really even need the script much. You just kind of
Yeah.
know, the product, you know what you're going to say. And it's really, I think the biggest thing when I think about my job is like, I'm a consultant. So when I'm on the phone with a VP, or whether it's a VP or whether it's just a data analyst, and when I find out what their need is, then I'm able to tell them, this is how an MQTT broker will assist with your data transmission. Have you thought about this? And then with our company, we have all these different differentiators on why it would be a better means than any other form of transmitting data. And so basically my day consists of a lot of phone calls. Sometimes you get hung up on. I haven't got cussed out yet because, it happens to my coworkers, but I'm like, I will be as kind, like I will not get cussed out. And I usually, even when people are, brushing me off, they're still very polite.
Oh, good.
I haven't gotten yelled at or anything like that, but you are persistent. So just because I call you today and you didn't answer, I'll call you again tomorrow, and I'll call you the next day, and
Okay.
I'll follow
Okay.
up in a couple of days, and I'll send an email, and we use LinkedIn. So it's many different ways, and this is all called outbounding. And, so we're outbounding, and from this outbounding, then you will find a way into the company. You'll find the right person, and that's gold. So with
Yeah.
SCRs, our key is setting up meetings. So we set up the meeting for the account executive, and
Okay.
when the account executive closes, then the whole company is celebrating and rejoicing. And like, oh, Atiya, open the door, and now we got this $1 million contract. So,
Right.
and
Right.
it's really
Awesome.
exciting. Yeah. And because you are doing business to business, and, the contracts, they can get up there, but that's great because you're looking at something that's ultimately it's going to save the company money, and it's going
Right.
to
Right.
it's going to save them time. It's more beneficial for them. We have many companies that partner with us and that work with us that are like, we wouldn't have been able to function without HiveMQ. And so when you see you're actually making a difference in a business, in their proposition, and just their revenue, then it makes you, at the end of the day, you're like, okay, I'm really making a difference.
No, I love that so much. Now, like, this is probably the part that so many people are interested in is the pay. So how much do you make in a position like this? Yeah.
So the pay is actually, I'll tell you, Whitney, this is the most I've ever made. And I'm in my 30s, and I have had so many different jobs. But what's amazing, so the base for my job is $60,000, and that's just base. And you do get commission on top of that. So now I haven't seen this yet, but I know in this industry, it's very possible for you to make up to six figures.
Oh,
Because
wow.
if different companies go about things differently. We get paid based on each meeting that we set.
Okay.
So, and it's unlimited. Now, some companies, they'll pay you based on a percentage once the deal closes. So you will get a percentage of the commission based on the deal. So the money is there. Like, I have friends who are SDRs, and a friend of mine, and I'm saying this because it hasn't happened for me yet, but she made six figures her first year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm 4 months in and I'm hoping, I'll be able to come back and say I had a six-figure year. And then not only that, but then as an SDR, the next tier, if you're looking at career advancement, would be account executive. And if you Google how much do account executives make, it's six figures, and that's minimum.
Oh, wow.
So it's definitely, the potential to make money is definitely there. That's why I've been trying to tell as many of my friends, look into this, because you don't have to have any prior experience. You go through a training and it can take you a couple of weeks or a couple of months, depending on, how hard you work and how much time you commit to it. And with an amount of investment for a couple of weeks to be able to position yourself to make six figures, is mind blowing. I'm still blown away by the whole thing.
That is so awesome. And I love that the sky's the limit. Like, you're not capped either. So that is amazing.
Yes.
So, okay, as a mom, I do have to ask, as a mother myself, how do you do it with kids? Like, how do you do this?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So my job is different because I'm on the phone a lot, but because it's flexible. So let's say, for instance, I have, and it's happened before, where my 4-year-old has gotten sick and he's had to stay home. So I'm able then to, just let my manager know and then readjust my schedule and, make the calls on later in the week. And that way I can tend to my son, but I can still work. I can send emails. I can use LinkedIn. I can build my pipeline. There's so many things that you can do with the job that's not just on the phone. And then while he's taking a nap, I can get a few calls in. So because of the flexibility of it, now my kids can't stay at home while I work just because my kids are very rambunctious. It may work for other kids. I have boys, so it may work for other people, but not my boys. But, if there's like an instance where they do need to stay home, like for instance, my 7-year-old was on spring break this week. And I was able to still, tend to him and still get my job done at the same time. So because I have that flexibility. So when I talk to women who are getting in and their moms, I always tell them, look for the job that's going to give you flexibility. Because it's possible. Now, they have some companies that are a little more stringent on their scheduling and they're not as autonomous. That may not work for you, but there are a lot of companies that are very, and then with tech companies, what you'll see is work-life balance is very important for them. So we have 20 days PTO. And you can, and that's not including holidays. That's on top of holidays.
Oh, wow.
Some tech companies have unlimited PTO. And so if you want to, I wanted to attend like an awards day or go on a field trip with my kids, I'm able to put in a request, pay time off, half day or a whole day. And at least once or twice a month, I'm able to spend time with my kids. So they encourage like work-life balance. So when you're going through the interview, ask those questions like, what are your PTO? What do you offer? What is your stance on work-life balance? Going in through the interview process, they knew that I had children. They knew that was important because I was a stay-at-home mom before this job.
Right.
I had certain things that I was looking for, and it just was a perfect match.
Oh, no, I love that because you're interviewing them as they are interviewing you too, making sure that you guys are a right fit. So I love that.
You don't want to go on the interview like you're begging for the job, because they're interviewing you, you're also interviewing them. And as a mom, there are going to be times where your kids are going to get sick. There are going to be times where you may be running late or you may have to pick your kids up early or things happen.
Right.
And every company is not, I was in actually the medical industry, which you would think, they have a little more compassion, but girl, I almost lost my job.
Oh no.
because my kids
Oh,
got sick.
yeah. Oh my. Yeah, that's just horrible. Now, one
So
thing I didn't ask too is like, so what are your hours too? Just from like on a Monday on a regular day. What time do you start the clock and then like say, okay, this is it for the day?
yeah, and we basically can make our schedule.
Oh,
So for me, typically about 9 to 4, 9 to 5.
okay.
Sometimes I'll, report a little bit earlier if I know I have to leave a little bit earlier. And then, at the same time, let's say it's a busy day, I'll have to get stuff done in the evening or the weekend. Because of that flexibility,
Oh,
then
right.
you're
You
able
make
to
it
do
better.
that.
Yeah.
Yep, because you can still, research companies, you can still fill your pipeline. You can do things off hours that don't involve sending emails or making phone calls that if I didn't get to it during the day, maybe I can have a couple of hours on Saturday. Like if I had a child that was homesick and missed a day of work, I can still make up my work in the evening or the weekends. So you basically really do make your own schedule.
I love this. And I love this too because like you said, you don't need any previous experience. I know there are so many people out there looking for remote jobs and work from home jobs, and they just don't know what to do. So this is a great opportunity. And like you said, if they don't have the experience, they can take a simple training or a boot camp, like you said, and to get the at least the knowledge of this stuff, to have that background or just understanding to get the job interviews. And I'm in different Facebook groups and things like that. And there's so many people are saying, I can't get an interview. And I heard you say that you had like 8 lined up and just
Yeah.
in this field. So this field is like in high demand. So it just makes so much sense that if you're looking for a remote job, that tech is it, and going the route that you did is the way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And there are other jobs out there, and I really do encourage people to pursue tech, for the reasons, you do have an emphasis on work-life balance. There are things that working in tech. I have a friend who is an attorney and she was working for a law firm, and we're telling everyone in the world about tech. And so I was telling her about our journey, and she said, I'm going to look into it. Well, she ended up getting a job with a tech company as a lawyer. And she was like, Atiya, she was like, they encouraged me to take time off. She was like, I've never had this much liberty in a job before. And I'm telling her, like, yes, it's true. Like, it's just different. And I've worked in hospitality, I've worked in retail, I've worked for nonprofits. I have a wide variety of type of industries I've worked in, and I haven't seen this much flexibility and genuine care and concern. Now, people do get concerned, about tech layoffs, and they're like, oh, what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
And that's a lot of those major tech companies that did a lot of high over hiring, and then now they have to kind of scale back. But for instance, I work for a tech startup company, so they have literally, don't let the news scare you away from the tech industry, because you can go on LinkedIn today and there are literally thousands of jobs on LinkedIn every day.
Wow.
So sometimes the bad news is so loud that it affects our ability to hear the good news. And the good news is there are thousands of job openings every day. So don't let that stop you. You don't have to work for Amazon or a Google to have perks. You could work for a tech startup company. Like my company's in Germany,
Oh, wow.
And I have great insurance. I mean, my insurance covers our whole family. So it's just a great, great benefits package. And they have a lot of companies just like that are looking for good people. And so there's no reason to be discouraged, because why can't it be you?
Right. Oh, I love this so much. Okay. So if you guys are interested in getting into tech, we would definitely provide the tools and resources that she used, so you guys can do the same thing as well. And if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching, guys, and have a great day. Thank you so much, Tia, for being with us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Whitney. It's been great.